Hi, guys, and welcome to another episode of Objectivist Girl Live. Today, I have Garrett Lafferty on with me, and we are going to talk about um, the difference between objectivism and voluntarism. Hi, Garrett. How you doing? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm doing good. I am a policy studies student at university. Definitely an anarcho-capitalist, a voluntarist. I think that this talk today about the difference between voluntarism and and objectivism is going to be a little bit one-sided. Lauren is definitely objectivist girl, so I can't really uh, criticize anything she has to say about objectivism because she knows a little bit more about it than me. So, all right, well, we'll see how this goes. Honestly.
Okay. Well, the good news is that I love voluntarism, just to start off with. The title of the video is really just to lure people in. I love voluntarism. I think it's awesome. But I'm not a voluntarist. And it's really just I want to discuss what the differences are. And so I thought I'd bring on a voluntarist because then it would make it more interesting than me just talking at a camera. So anyway, um, so Garrett, one of the underlying things that I find that is different between objectivism and voluntarism is the fact that objectivism is a philosophy. It's got a view on metaphysics and epistemology, and its ethical view is very broad. And so there's a complete set of ideas in objectivism versus voluntarism, which just kind of follows the nap and believes that there shouldn't be government. Or am I leaving anything out?
um, yeah, not really. I'd like to say that voluntarism is also not just the non-aggression principle. I'd like to think that people find value in voluntary interaction, because you could be a non-aggressionist and be an isolationist, but with voluntarism, you could also voluntarily, like you're talking about the interaction between people. So if you have no interaction, right, it's not voluntarism. But yeah.
Interesting. So does voluntarism have a certain stance on like how people should interact? Because I know that objectivism has the eight virtues and talks about the eight virtues of interaction and how you should view yourself and how you should view others. Does voluntarism have that kind of view?
What are the or like what do you mean by the eight views of objectivism?
Well, there are eight virtues, and just to name three of them, since it would take forever to go over all eight.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'll just pick three in particular. One would be benevolence, and then there's mutually beneficial exchanges, and then there's also rational self-interest. So we'll
Okay.
start with
Um,
benevolence. Does voluntarism have any say
voluntarism hat
on
on benevolence. Sorry, yeah.
yeah, benevolence?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Not really. No, I guess not. It's literally, yeah. I guess it's just encouragement of voluntary interactions. And you could follow that through and think that maybe through voluntary interaction, through benevolence, like voluntarily, this person will accept whatever you're giving them. It could also touch on self-interest as well, because that might be in your self-interest to do that. Um,
Interesting.
uh, it might touch on, you know what I mean, like uh, having your self-interest to have them as like a companion or whatever, or like somebody you know. Um, I don't know. I guess that is objectivism, kind of, is it not? Like you're uh, super self-interested, to the point where you can love somebody, but you're only loving it because you love loving them, kind of
Right.
deal.
Yeah. So, yeah, see, that's really where the difference comes in for me. And there may be other differences, but I honestly see the biggest difference in the fact that objectivism has all of these stances on all these different things like benevolence and charity, and so it's very guiding, and you
Mhm.
always know exactly what you should do in any situation, and
Right,
all of
right.
this
But how is that sorry, how is that come about, or how did that come about? Like those stances on objectivism, like is
well,
it just through trying to find, like, sorry,
oh, it's
go ahead.
really just about trying to find objective reality, and based on, her metaphysics and her epistemology, she's made um, she's she's made it so that she's not created these stances, she's founded these stances in objective reality and has realized that this is the best way of doing it, because of the fact that it's
Mm,
all rested on the principle that we should be rationally self-interested, and we should be rationally self-interested because of the fact that existence exists. Um, and so it's grounded in the fact that because we exist and because we need to sustain our existence and keep our existence going, we have a right to all negative rights and to have those negative rights respected by everyone else. So basically, this entire philosophy stems from the fact that existence exists, and voluntarism doesn't really have any stance on metaphysics that I'm aware of. So it's not grounded
mm.
on anything, and that was the issue I had with the non-aggression principle. What do you think?
I think I agree on that. I'd say objectivism is like more of a philosophical kind of stance, and voluntarism isn't really a philosophical stance. It is, you almost want to call it a political stance, but I hate doing that. I hate calling voluntarism a political stance because
I
it just
know
doesn't really make sense, right?
it's like calling atheism a religious stance, but I mean, once you
Yeah.
think about it, it really is. It's the A of any. It's anarchy is the A
Mhm.
of of politics, and then there's and voluntarism is as well. Voluntarism, honestly, I'd be fascinated to know what the difference is between anarchy and voluntarism, because so far as I can tell, voluntarism is just a nicer word.
Yeah, it kind of is. It's kind of like a maybe it's a rebranding of it. I don't know, but I like it. I think that it's important. I think that people understand that what we're advocating isn't just complete self-interest, where people can be aggressive towards others in anarchy. It's anarchy through voluntarism.
Mm, okay. Yeah, I think voluntarism is a more exact term, and I actually really like voluntarism. Um,
As I was trying to say before, like I think the voluntarism is the action, and anarchy is kind of the stance on like
I really like that.
your
That's
like.
really cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, that sounds legitimate to me. Um, yeah, I've often thought that I should be voluntarist, objectivist girl, but that just sounds really long. Um, because my view on government doesn't fit the objectivist standard. And it really is a pleonasm, as I've gone over and over again and again. But honestly, I have to put the anarchy up there just because I want it to be clear that I'm not a minarchist. But really, my entire life philosophy, everything that I do, is based on objectivism and is based on objective reality. And objectivism, when I say I'm an objectivist, I'm trying to tell people that I live in reality. I make my decisions based on what is real, not what I emotionally want to do. I'm not a subjectivist. I don't, it's great if my emotions are satisfied, but my emotions are not number one priority in my life. And most people live based on their emotions. And so claiming myself as an objectivist is standing up to the world and saying, I believe that there are more important things than how I feel about something.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do, and that's why I think that that's what the difference between objectivism and voluntarism. Voluntarism isn't doesn't have anything really to say about the individual, kind of.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if you can have an involuntary interaction with yourself,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, I
So
mean,
I
I
don't
have
know.
feelings I don't want to have all the time. It's awful. But, you know, being a girl problems, right? Hashtag being a
Yeah.
girl. But
But then yeah,
no,
so you try and base
it's
that.
human, really.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Everybody has it. Um, but the point is that there are these differences, and the reason that I haven't given up my objectivism, guys, is that I really believe that objectivism makes a great addition to absolutely any philosophy because it has such great principles for ethics, and it's of
Well,
course it's rooted in Aristotelian logic. So
mhm. What's Aristotelian logic? That sounds cool.
It's basically logic of Aristotle. I could do a whole show on it. I probably should.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I
Yeah.
should probably do a whole show. That yeah, it's really cool. But yeah, Aristotle's metaphysics basically say A is A, and that means existence exists because A is A, and so
Hmm.
the entire philosophy, her entire philosophy, is grounded on Aristotle's A is A principle. And so that
Hmm.
is, I mean, did you know, and Aristotle, and I don't think the jury's out on Aristotle. I think most people accept that Aristotle was correct. But the guy created the scientific method. If you need any
Hmm.
other proof as to why
Right.
Aristotle
Exactly. And that's what I was
was
gonna say. Objectivism is like you can't perform science without trying to get closer to objective reality, right? Like that's the point. So yeah, like that, that's cool. I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. It just
no,
popped in my
I
head.
thought it was a great addition. Um, No, I love Aristotle. I'm a big fan of Aristotle because I have to be. Aristotle's really the roots of Ayn Rand, and so I knew I had a really good point, and it was that objectivism is a great addition to any philosophy. I think voluntarists should look into objectivism and study objectivism.
Mhm.
Objectivism is not voluntarism once you add the anarchy onto the objectivism. It doesn't suddenly become voluntarist. I'm not just an anarchist. I also have a life philosophy. It's like Taoism. I compare Ayn Rand's philosophy to Taoism only in the fact that it is a guiding principle for life. It is not Taoism in any respect. But but or Taoism. I'm sorry, it's Tao. Um,
Okay.
but that's a life philosophy, and objectivism is a life philosophy. So it's how
Hmm.
I think about myself, and so yeah,
You
I
know,
don't.
I would say I'm a little bit of an objectivist when it comes to uh, that. But I also try and think. I do, but see, I'm still a voluntarist though because I actually think about NAP like on the regular, like throughout the day. Like, what is my interaction with this person doing? Am I in any way possibly an aggressor? Are they possibly aggressive against me? Blah blah blah. Like, I don't know. That just pops through my head because I think that obviously the best way to do anything is to have a situation where it's completely voluntary because you both want to do it. Um, yeah, but I see, and I don't understand. Like, couldn't that be? I guess that's is that not philosophy? No.
It's called a floating abstraction. So the non-aggression principle, the issue with the non-aggression principle is that it's a floating abstraction. And that's just it. Is that people, when they hear me say it's a floating abstraction, they're automatically insulted. This is not meant to be an insult. The non-aggression principle is so well intentioned. I think it's
Mhm.
awesome that people are trying to not aggress, but a floating abstraction is not the way to do it. Like I said, objectivism is grounded in the fact that existence exists and pulls everything from that fact. And so if that fact ceases to exist, then I've got to rethink my entire life. So if existence no longer exists, I've got to rethink my entire life. And that's, I think, the difference between the non-aggression principle and objectivism. Because if existence
you could go really deep, though. You could go really deep in that rabbit hole. Existence exists. Okay, so you're saying that if you're not grounded in there, then you could possibly be a voluntarist and not have or an anarchist and not have yourself based in existence exists. Like you could, is that what you're saying? Like objectivism is like the step higher kind of deal?
It's a step higher. I mean, I try not to put ranks on them, but if you're looking at objectively, objectivists are really the people that want to study why it is that we should not aggress. And, you know, everybody in the libertarian community kind of takes it as fact that you shouldn't aggress. But to us, it's, well, why?
Right. That is pretty true.
Right.
So, yeah. This is an interesting discussion we're having here. I'm actually really thoroughly stimulated in my brain cells. Synapses are just...
I'm glad. You know, I try to make my show be the little light in your day where your brain is actually doing something. Because, you know, you sit at school or you know, go to work, and most people go to schools where they, you know, have statism shoved down their throat all day. Or they go to a job where, you know, they don't have to think and it's super automatic. Kudos to the people that have found an awesome job where they have to think and it enriches their lives and their minds. That's awesome. But, you know, that's not easy to find, especially for people in their 20s, you know? Especially with this economy. God, the economy.
Is it that bad down there? No, I don't know. Oh, yeah.
It's
probably the same here, but anyways.
Garrett lives in Canada, so I'm not jealous, bud.
Hey, there's another objectivist up here. There's Victor Pross. Shouts out to that guy.
Victor Pross
is
awesome.
Objectivist man.
He is doing my album artwork, so I'm super excited. He'll be doing the artwork.
Well, actually, no. Hold on. Does Victor consider himself because he disagrees a lot with them now, doesn't he? Like he's been posting lately about how. Right. Yeah. Exactly. Right. Like the whole anarchist debate between that. Right. So if you said before anarchy and voluntarism are the same, so why wouldn't you like? It's the same. If you're calling yourself an anarcho-objectivist, it's like the exact same thing, but you just can't put the fancy anarcho in front of it. Right.
So, basically, I think he and I are both in the same boat, and we are objectivists, and we see anarchy as the logical conclusion, and it's very frustrating, because when we have interactions with these people, they're totally rude. They don't understand. Like I was saying yesterday, I made a video. I did Ask Objectivist Girl yesterday, and I made this awesome video, and at the end, one of the questions that was asked was, do I have a response to the people that, you know, that have an issue, that take issue, the objectivists that take issue with my elaboration or interpretation or whatever of the philosophy. And I did, and I think it was probably my strongest statement to them yet. It was just, brief overview. It was me telling them, you know, remember what the goal is. And the goal is to get people to live in objective reality, to stop behaving emotionally, to live by objectivist ethics, and we have to go through minarchy because we're peaceful people. We don't want a violent revolution. So if you're not going to have a violent revolution, you have to slowly pull back government. So we're going to go through minarchy to get to anarchy anyway. So I don't know why we're having this fight right now. Why don't we work together
Mm-hmm.
and get there? You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Here's a big question.
Yeah.
Um, do you ever think that will exist? There's people out there who say it could, like perfect anarchy. I am totally convinced it will never happen, but um,
I don't
what do you think?
I don't think I waste my time on futile attempts. And I totally believe it. I don't think that.
Basing yourself in objective reality, that's a good objectivist of you.
Yeah, I'm a really good objectivist. I'm my friend Joelle, I think it was the one that said I was a level 100 objectivist, and at level 99, Ayn Rand speaks to you from the grave. It was a little joke. I mean, it's not serious, but it's really funny, and I think it's probably one of the funniest things that's ever been said to me. But anyway,
should
um,
you should try and do a video where you're acting like Ayn Rand.
I should,
Like
you
get
know
do
what
that
I should
accent
do?
and everything.
I should do a video where I have a crystal ball and I'm speaking to Ayn Rand from the grave. It'd be so funny. Oh my god. The objectivists would love it. They'd be like, oh, Ayn Rand's here. Don't worry, guys. She
That's funny.
says anarchy was actually right. Oh my god. She reversed her position.
That's a really good idea for a video.
It'd be so funny. Oh my god. I could get my viewership up so high doing it that way.
Hey, I claim intellectual property rights to all those people out there for that.
OIP. The internet has
What if she
made.
came back and she's like, no, you're wrong too. No IP.
Ugh. Yeah, see, that's the other thing that I agree with the voluntarist on is IP. It's just with the internet, and you know what? The reason she got it wrong was because the internet didn't exist. So she couldn't have possibly have known how ridiculously hard it would be
No,
to force
no,
IP
that's
internet.
but right, yeah, but the not even that though. Like she had the idea that wasn't it like anything that they not anything, but if somebody had created like say a design for something, they're that's like they have the property rights over that, right?
Uh-huh.
It wasn't just the internet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's just I don't agree. Like unless they physically steal them, then there's no reason the person couldn't like trace over anything. Or like as long as you're not damaging the actual physical object or breaking in somewhere to get it.
Hmm. It's
If
interesting.
it's given to you, I don't know how could it be possibly be property if you had an idea. If it's something that went through your head and the only difference is that somebody else can't recreate it, only if they're just copying what you express outwardly,
Mm-hmm.
then you should not express outwardly.
Well, yeah, you know, the way I see it is that if people are creating and inventing things, then they are creating something, they're creating a bunch of products. Once they send it out, once somebody buys it, it's no longer your property. So it's now their property. So all of this physical
But
property
some people
just,
think that as soon as they say something, without saying, okay, what I'm going to tell you right after this, like having a contract, having that voluntary contract, saying, what I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to have to pay me for this idea. But some people are like, hey, this is my idea, and then somebody else tries to take it, and they say, oh no, I said that first. It's like, well, you should have made a voluntary contract with the people you were expressing this idea towards.
right. It's
You know
just
what I mean?
rewarding short-sightedness. I mean, and this doesn't seem like Ayn Rand at all. I mean, she's normally like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, you didn't get what you wanted out of life? Did you plan for it properly? Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah,
That sucks for you. You know, I mean,
exactly.
probably would have been nicer than that, but ultimately, It's, it's one of those
Mm.
things. I don't understand, I'll never understand how she
Mhm.
got the idea that intellectual property is a good thing, because then, I mean, don't you have to be anti-open source if you're pro IP?
Well, maybe what she was saying, I'm gonna play devil's advocate on this, that uh, when she was very saying, like, always saying that you can't live off somebody else, right? So maybe she was thinking that because you were using their idea, you should have produced one yourself, and maybe that would drive for more innovation in some way. I don't know, but
That's what I keep saying. It's holding back innovation, and the woman loved innovation. So I don't understand how she has this strong this
mm,
strong pro IP stance when she was a woman that
mm,
adored innovation. It holds back and slows down innovation to have those sorts of things. There has to be other ways to
mm.
reward people. Do you know of any other ways that people get rewarded when they don't have intellectual property? Like Jeffrey Tucker. Like, how does he make money off of his books? Because they're all,
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know, big shout out to this guy, Lil B. He puts his music out there for free for everybody, and he's like just rich, just filthy rich. He did like I don't know, he's been around for a long time, and he puts everything he hits millions of hits on YouTube and stuff like that. So it's possible. People don't even realize
was he
you don't
rich,
have to own the idea. You have to.
or did he get rich off of his music?
Pardon?
Was he rich before, or did he get rich off of his music?
He had connections before. He wasn't rich. He was part of like a rap group when he was a kid, but he still is, but they didn't do anything. But he just started producing his own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Look him up. He his views aren't the greatest, but he makes good, awesome music for free.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought you were asking about if I knew anybody that did that. So I don't know if that was rhetorical or not.
I mean, I haven't decided what I'm gonna be doing about my album. I don't know. I feel like I almost have to give it away for free now that I'm anti-IP. Um,
No, you don't have to. No, you don't have to. People can donate to Lil B if they want to. Like, just
mhm,
do it on, as I was saying, do a GoFundMe, because GoFundMe has a different layout, I think, than the one you're using. It
mhm,
will let you buy something physical, or like you'll be like, oh, you get a message from this person if you donate $5, or it's not, you're not literally yes, and then at the end you give it away for free. You give the album away, but you just try and raise this certain amount of money, and
mhm,
then each level of donation gets a different thing,
mhm.
or you can just donate just to donate.
I was thinking about giving away a spot on my show, like a day where we have a bidding war to get a spot on my show. But I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
people want to come on my show. So
No,
who
I,
knows? But
yeah,
anyway,
well,
apparently we are out of time. But please go and fund my song. And Garrett, where can they find you?
fuck politics on Facebook, and statism and slavery, and Garrett Lafferty on Facebook as well.
Awesome. Well, remember, guys,
Oh,
knowledge is not for
wait,
all
wait,
men.
wait! And
Oh,
down the political system, and breaking down the political system on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Mountain Time.
yeah, check Garrett out. He's awesome. Remember, guys, knowledge is not for all men, but for those who seek it, so keep seeking.